In this video, we're going to be reviewing Asics' latest release, the Gel Nimbus 25. Sorry, did I say Nimbus? I meant Cumulus. Was that a slip of a tongue, or maybe there's just too many similarities we need to talk about? Before I start the review, run the tape. Okay, my name is Aubrey. I'm a very average runner, simply trying to be less average by the day. At the time of recording this, I had 1,113 subscribers. Mind blown. To celebrate the 1,000 subscribers, I've added a few things. Can you see in the background that light over there? Yep. I even went to the barber to celebrate this, but we're going to keep that under the cap. Alright, so let's start talking about the changes Asics has made to this shoe from version 24 to this one. And the biggest changes to me are in the midsole. They've deviated from the flight foam that we saw before and put in the FF Blast Plus, which you see in the Metaspeed, the premium shoes, and you also saw a feature in the Gel Nimbus 25. But that's not the only similarity it has with the Gel Nimbus 25. As you can see, that pure gel in the back there. Before in the 24, you had rear foot as well as forefoot gel technology, but now they've put that embedded gel in the midsole. Now for me, I don't necessarily see this as an upgrade because you've taken away the gel that was on the forefoot. Now, if you're a midfoot as well as a forefoot striker, you might actually benefit from having some of that gel technology at the front. But maybe that's a consideration Asics can make in a later shoe, or maybe version 26 of this one and the Nimbus. The other change they've made is sustainability of this shoe. It's really good to see that 90% of the upper is made from recycled materials and 70% of the entire shoe is the same. I like that, Asics. Well done. Okay, with no further ado, let's talk about the shoe like we always do. Just a normal conversation going from the top and working our way down. The first thing at the top you will see is the heel tab. I like that. Makes putting the shoe on or taking it off much easier. I've also noticed that there's a tab here on the tongue, which I actually used when putting the shoe on. Now, I don't know if that's the intended purpose for that, but I like that touch. Let's move on to the heel collar and the step-in. I don't have any complaints here. The heel collar is a very plushy texture. It's very thick, and I think it's what's contributing to that 289 grams we talked about. I didn't have any problems with lockdown. I put the shoe on, laced it, my heel was locked, and it felt very secure and very comfortable being there, so no fault there. Alright, so let's talk about the tongue. It's a fully gusseted tongue, meaning it's attached on both sides. That gives your foot that sock feeling, but as well as it holds the tongue in a fixed place, and that doesn't leave the runner to decide how to position the tongue. The only disadvantage, I think, this is a very plush, thick tongue, and I think it contributes two ways in a negative way. It's going to make the shoe a bit heavier than it needs to be, but also, I feel this shoe is going to run a bit warm. Now, I live in England, so that's a welcomed thing. But if you're going to run in this shoe in hot areas, I feel like your foot might get a bit too warm in it. All right, so let's talk about the laces. I've never described laces as plush before, but if you feel them, they've got this spongy feel, and that, to me, just feels great. I didn't have any problems with them coming undone or anything like that, so no complaints. But the bigger thing to call out is the lacing system. The holes here is exactly what you need. You know, you just need something basic. Something basic. No, okay, let's move on. The Gel Nimbus for me had these weird eyelets with holes for the laces to go through, and I don't think that's gonna hold out for long. This is that bit Asics I was talking about, and it does exactly what it needs to. So that's a welcome touch. Next, moving on, let's talk about the upper. To be honest, nothing special to call out here apart from that 90% recyclable materials I talked about. That is a nice touch. But speaking of it, it's an engineered mesh. It's similar to the Gel Nimbus, and I like the perforations because that's going to make the shoe breathe a little more. Because I predict this shoe is definitely going to run warm. But I definitely welcome it. I can't complain. It's got similarities to the Gel Nimbus 25, and if it's not broken, don't fix it. Next up, the star of the show, and that is the midsole. FF Blast coming in, moving away from flight foam, that pure gel. And the one thing I need to call out here, despite the similarities, please don't expect this shoe to be as plush, as cushioned as the Gel Nimbus 25. It's not. This feels a bit firmer. This feels a bit more, if you want to be more contacted to the ground, return of energy, this is that shoe. The Gel Nimbus 25, in my opinion, is one of the best max cushion shoes there are. But if that kind of shoe, a max cushion shoe, is not what you're after, you want something closer to the ground, a bit more returning of energy as a daily trainer, definitely this is going to be that shoe. However, for me, it's Gel Nimbus 25 all day. Let's turn it over and talk about the outsole. AHA, AHA, whatever you want to call it. The Asics High Abrasive Rubber Plus. Now, I don't know what the Plus is, but again, it's the same one that they've got in the Gel Nimbus 25. So let me show you that there. It looks really, really good. Now, for me, a word of warning to everyone. Every time you see on a running shoe that midsole foam running all the way to the underside, it's going to tell you that that's a flag to watch out, because those are vulnerable areas for wear and tear. However, Asics have planted the AHA rubber in the key landing areas to try and minimize that wear and tear. So I can't fault it. Overall, this is an amazing touch. For me, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Asics relied on the strengths of what they've seen in the Gel Nimbus 25 and transferred it over into this shoe, their daily trainer, and I can't fault it. Lastly, who is this shoe for, and should you buy it? For me, if you're looking for a neutral daily trainer that's going to give you a bit more return of energy as opposed to the Gel Nimbus 25, this is that shoe. Me personally, I prefer the Gel Nimbus 25, even for what this shoe is intended for. So for me personally, I'd recommend stretching your finances a little bit further and getting the Gel Nimbus 25. Okay, and lastly, for my favorite section of the review, is the Tesco test. Or if Walmart, if you're in the States, or whatever your supermarket is called. Could you wear this shoe doing normal random stuff without giving off dad vibes? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a dad, I love being a dad, I don't want my shoes giving off dad vibes. Simple as that. Could you wear this shoe doing normal everyday stuff? Absolutely. And if I'm to be honest, I'm gonna use my Gel Nimbus 25 more than I'll use this one. So this is probably going to do that Tesco run more than the Gel Nimbus 25 would. So therefore for me, it absolutely does. Okay, actually, hold on. Let's end this with a heartfelt, sincere thank you for your support. You've taken me to 1,000+ subscribers, and I'm sincerely grateful. I can only hope you join me in my future videos. Thank you very much for the likes, the comments, and subscribing. It sincerely is appreciated.